Wake up, America. Some people say the bull run is over. Some people say the American dollar is going to collapse. But what we do know is that the American monetary system is in trouble. But instead of trying to say this is what we think is going to happen, today we're going to look at the facts, figures, numbers, logic, look at history, and ask ourselves what will happen. We can guess all day. Some people say that, they're going to the American dollar is going to collapse and this new asset backed currency is going to come in. There is a shift in the monetary system. That's a fact. There's an absolute fact. Money is changing, and most people are going to wake up and be using blockchain. That's it. I mean, it's a change in money. Eventually, all currencies will be regulated by a bag of currencies, not a dominant currency. This is a big transition. I brought you into Ray Dalio's Changing World Order over and over and over again. We are now in the last phase of the changing world order. What we do know is there's brand new innovative technologies coming out. What we do know is Ripple beat the SEC. They paid their small fine, and now they have regulatory clarity. We do know that the CFTC sees Bitcoin as a commodity. We do know that the largest asset managers in the world are now have a Bitcoin ETF, and the asset managers are allowed to talk to their clients about it. We do know that banks are ramping up, I guarantee, to custody your cryptocurrency. But what we have to look at is what is happening to the traditional financial system. What is actually happening to Americans now? So let's break that down. On the back end, we'll look at what is happening, like the facts now, okay? Not what we're guessing, but here's what's happening, okay? The first thing we need to look at is let's take a look at one of the biggest investors in the world, one of my favorite investors. Why Warren Buffett has built his biggest cash hoard in decades. So he's pulling cash back. The CEO of Berkshire Hathaway has halved his firm's stake in Apple and now holds $277 billion in cash. Okay. So simply, when Warren Buffett starts pulling cash back, remember what Warren Buffett says? Buy when there's what? Blood in the streets. So he's waiting for blood in the streets. Now, he's a stock market guy. He's not a crypto guy. I do not think the bull run's over. I think that's all hogwash, what people are saying. I believe the bull run's going to follow the same cycle. But the way that the economy is going right now, we may see massive pullbacks in the stock market. We'll see what happens. But we have the looming interest rate reduction in September. Okay, we're going to take a look at some other factors. So these are things you need to look at. Why is Warren Buffett pulling back? Why is he pulling all this cash? Because he's ready to buy the dip. Okay, so that's important to look at. Those are things that I look at right here. This is really important. Okay, I know this isn't about crypto, but this is extremely important. This is what BlackRock's looking at. This is what JP Morgan's looking at. They're looking at this stuff right now. Abs put this out on the 9th, I believe it was. It says just in, U.S. national credit card debt reaches $1.15 trillion. I mean, let that sink in. Look at that chart, guys. Look at the charts from 2021. This is a perfect fact right here of what is happening. 2021, okay, 2020, here's the pandemic, and then boom, credit card debt skyrocketed. Well, what does that mean? Okay. They kept this administration kept saying, "Oh, we have the best economy." No, we don't. We have a post-pandemic economy. People were coming back from COVID, okay, the pandemic. They had stimulus in their bank account. That stimulus started to dry out right here in 2023, okay? Bank accounts are empty. I'm pointing at it like you guys can see it. And then boom, look at how high it's gone since 2021. You have to understand that, guys. This is wild. And the National Debt Tracker, American taxpayers, you are now on the hook for $35 trillion as of 8/9. Okay. So we got consumer credit stacked. Bank accounts are empty. Okay. We are on the hook for $35 trillion. How are we going to fix this? Well, there's a hero coming in. Okay. And this right here, remember, this is 3-4 months ago. Job markets are amazing. 2 months ago, job markets are amazing. Well, it's over, guys. America's hiring boom is officially over. The market is tumbling. How did everyone miss the warning signs? We didn't miss the warning signs. We brought it up over and over and over again, guys. We knew that the job markets were going to falter. In order to cool inflation, eventually You have to, there's jobs that has to do with that. You're going to lose jobs. Okay. Well, they kept saying the job market is good. The job market is good. So we'll keep interest rates high. Well, now the job market is faltering. The 40-hour work week went down to 32 hours. You can see it's a direct correlation. You can see people are now stacking their credit cards. This is why the largest asset managers in the world are moving to a flight to safety. Okay. So now we have a debt problem in America. And the G7 is over. So America's over 100% debt to income ratio. The G7 is over 100% debt to income ratio. Americans have 1.1 trillion in credit card debt. They're running out of capital or access to credit. Remember, every dollar in the system is someone else's debt. We're a debt-based system. So there's no more debt, and then there's no more ability to borrow at some point. Okay. Our taxes are going to pay the interest on our debt owed in America. Okay. Most of our debt is denominated outside of the US, a lot of the debt, which is Japan and China. Okay. Japan is faltering right now. So what's going to happen is we're going to make it through August. Then they're going to lower rates in September, which is going to cause a push into assets. Okay. So I'm interested. I'll be watching Warren Buffett closely. I'm going to see what he's doing here. Well, we saw that big pullback, guys, because the real economy is starting to emerge. Okay. We're in this fake post-pandemic economy that was able to pad the numbers for a long time. The job markets, last month we reported they added 70,000 governmental jobs. And this is why the largest asset managers in the world are heading into Bitcoin. This is why Goldman Sachs asset managers can now talk to you about cryptocurrency. Listen to this.
Well, the recent dip in the price of Bitcoin brought out the usual assortment of naysayers. Although I got to tell you, that pool is shrinking, even with the slight pullback. Listen, so many of them have so much egg on their face. Still, they always come out and they always seem to aim their anger at my next guest, who isn't just a fan, but he's an evangelist. And, well, he's put billions where his conviction is. I want to bring in out MicroStrategy's executive chairman, Michael Saylor. You know, Michael, I'm going to start calling you Last Laugh Sailor because you always seem to get the last laugh. Even with the pullback, you put out a chart that's really amazing. MicroStrategy is outperforming everything since you adopted it as a strategy. It's crushed everything. Look at the green arrow. It's crushed everything. So I know you feel vindicated, but there's more, right?
Look, Bitcoin.
Look at that real quick before we continue on. Look at that. Look at MicroStrategies. Now remember, guys, MicroStrategies, before BlackRock even got access to the ETF and got involved, they went heavily into MicroStrategies to get exposure. So they're in the top 3 of holders of MicroStrategies. Vanguard and BlackRock are the top 2. One of the top 2 holders is another company that jumped in there. But look at this, NVIDIA. Is that NVIDIA? Yeah, they're crushing NVIDIA. Bitcoin is crushing everything.
Bitcoin is volatile, but volatility is a signal of high energy. You know, rivers, waterfalls, fires, and windstorms are volatile. They just contain energy that we can harness. And so this digital asset is creating tens of billions of dollars of credit and liquidity at all times for everybody everywhere in the world. And it's attracting massive amounts of capital, and that's what's driving that superior performance. MicroStrategy is just levering the most powerful idea in the world right now.
Yeah, but when you decided to go down this route, we've had many conversations. It was really nuts. And even now, critics, I heard folks talking about it just in the last couple, days. Oh, it was supposed to be sort of when the world's going to hell in a handbasket. It was supposed to be a safe haven, and it's not. What do you tell folks who still aren't convinced, in part because it's not a safe haven per se?
What I say is Bitcoin's a solution to everybody's problem. Investors are worried about regulation, taxes, torts, and antitrust. Economists are worried about the deficit and the debt. Individuals want to deal with inflation, and they're worried about opportunity. Companies can't compete with megacorps. Those who understand Bitcoin buy Bitcoin. Those who don't criticize Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, individuals can outrun the inflation, investors can beat the market, corporations can outgrow the competition, and countries can revitalize their economies and boost their currencies by
Okay, so let's break down all those things that he just said. Okay, so why? Okay, so he said countries can reboost their economy, companies can beat their competition. Okay, we can beat inflation, right? We can preserve our wealth as well. So let's break down the why behind that. Okay, now I'm trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can. I'm a huge XRP holder, XLM, HBAR. I have many other altcoins. Okay. I buy an infrastructure supply chain, gaming, payment tokens, and stores of value. That's how I categorize my cryptocurrency. Okay. So let's talk about governmental, right? So now at the Bitcoin conference this year, you had Trump, and Kamala was going to be there, but she backed out. Trump, RFK, and Cynthia Loomis, and senators in the audience who are saying, Bitcoin's the best thing ever. They want to bring all the Bitcoin mining here, which is going to be great for the economy. They want to pull Bitcoin underneath the treasury, because what that'll do is actually will shrink our balance sheet massive. If you have Bitcoin that 80% of the supply has not moved, I think it's more, 80% of the supply has not moved. I kept saying 20% is left. I think it's only 10%. Someone comment down below. It could be, I think we did the math. I think there's only 10% of the supply left. So you have something that has 10% supply left. It can't be printed. It's going to continue to go up. Okay. If they move it into the treasury, guys, and they don't sell it, do you realize how valuable it will be if you own it? It will only continue to go up. It's a risk on, risk off asset. 80 to 90% of the supply has not moved. Now the government wants to move in their treasury. So if the government moves in their treasury, that shrinks their balance sheet, because now you have an appreciating asset that not only you can borrow against, your wealth is going up, which shrinks your balance sheet, right? The wealthier you are, the better off. If a company owns it, your balance sheet is going up. You can borrow against it to build your companies. Okay. For an individual, if you're moving some of your cash into Bitcoin, right? So I use Bitcoin as my store of value. I use insurance to preserve my profits, right? That's how I do it. I use tier 1 capital. So crypto is very volatile, high risk, and I use insurance to secure my capital, my profits. Okay. So, and then the individual, we talked about the individual, right? The individual, yeah, for BlackRock, it's a flight to quality. It's a flight to safety. And then you think about this right now. It's like, if you bought a little bit of Bitcoin, you're going to continue to see that go up. I'm going to hold my Bitcoin long-term. I'm not touching my Bitcoin. If I need to access it in the future, I'll borrow against it tax-free. I'm not touching my Bitcoin. Will be exiting 50% of my altcoins, all my alternative coins, which will be in long-term capital gains, because I have a very strict plan outside of that. So I pull from the left side of the risk pyramid. Remember, crypto is high risk, high return. I pull it down. I insure my profit. I use insurance to insure my wealth. Okay. Because when those markets came collapsing down, principal is always guaranteed. My principal is always guaranteed, right? Then on the back end of my life, I can borrow against it tax-free, tax code 7702A. I'm going to continue to look at businesses. Right now, we're really innovating our businesses 5 to 10 years down the road. We're looking at our 3T company. We're looking at all of our companies to say, listen, where are we going to be at in the next 5 years? We're being very strategic. We're information technology, education, media. Like, what is it going to look like, right? How do we need to evolve into the future? I use silver as my precious metals, and I use Bitcoin as my gold. I think that's it, right? Yeah, so I got for you guys. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you need any support at all, people message me all day, all the time. Number one, I will never proactively DM you about your crypto. I do not invest people's money. I do not invest for people in crypto. Okay. That is not me communicating with you. There's tons of scammers out there. Any influencers in the financial space, that's not me. We do not invest people's money. You will never send me money, ever, ever. Okay. We have retirement. I have a whole team in all 50 states and Canada to help you with retirement strategies. Okay. So the things I talk about, the retirement strategies around insurance, we can help you understand that. You click the link in my video down below, click the link, fill out a needs assessment. The proper team member will reach out. You go to my social media platform, click the link, fill that a needs assessment out as detailed as possible. And my team member will reach out to you and discuss those strategies. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.